There should be. I thought we had 4 of these things.
We do.
Forever. It's not back there. That one.
1, 2,
3.
3.
We had one more.
Is that one missing behind there?
I think that
Or
was.
Yeah,
that's
that's
what you
this
took over
one.
there. Okay.
Number 4 has been gone for a while.
Oh, I'm gonna watch this one. This is.
So
live.
we're on newbies, right?
Yeah, we're on newbies right now. Texas charcuterie says, "Hello, my sister wife." Don't know what any of that means, but we'll talk about that type of Texas homegrown shit here in a minute. 210 remaining. 210 remaining. Bam. And they can hear everything we say as well from this point. They're just looking at it, but they're listening. Oh, but you've seen how these. You know what? I might just cancel this thing out. We've already got some comments coming in that's rolling through saying
Nose first. Pennington is have a drink or the bottle. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're watching that Cigar Newbies.
Yeah.
I've got
Michelle Coe.
I've got ICC. We've got John Blake Deal said the Goobers added a gem tonight. And all right, Blake.
Thanks, buddy.
I can't believe he calls us goobers. That guy. Blake did say he's dusting off his A game for golf on Sunday.
A game.
A means I'm going to hit A ball in that backyard, and I'm going to hit A ball over in that house.
Yeah. A's.
Andy Offey is smoking a JSK Tyrannical Buck.
I think JSK makes one that says CBD infused cigar. Isn't that JSK?
I've seen that.
No, it's like Nug or something like that. I would share it with my housing development, but they may throw us out of the development.
Oh, no. Put it in there. See what kind of people they allow in your neighborhood.
Yeah, well, we know that.
Are you cut over there, Amy?
I am cut.
We should start pouring.
Yeah, pour.
Okay.
4 away.
Warren.
We got Lone Elm in the
Jerry
house.
Vaughn.
Gonna do some serious pouring.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
you'll
Perfect.
start.
No, please.
Okay. Here, I'll just do this.
30 second.
Here, I'll trade you.
John Blake, nothing but love, you a-hole.
Awesome.
And a double for you, right?
Yes.
Bob's
You guys
going
just take what
dry.
you want, and I'll just cover the rest
Just
of the
drink
bottle.
the bottle.
What's up, Marty Upton? All right, 10 seconds. You rolling? 5 seconds. We're good up there. We're on 3 seconds. 2, 1. Can you feel it?
Yes.
Feel it?
I feel it.
felt
I feel it now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely.
definitely.
Feel it deep in your grapes, huh?
Yeah, right.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you.
Cheers.
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 So, let's be
The
careful.
Lone Elm
Happy
Dr.
Tuesday.
Pepper blend.
All right,
Yes.
look.
Salute.
Here's what I'm going to say: is we need to be careful right away. And if you're just watching this, or you're not watching it live, just fast forward to the end because it's going to be worth.
The end will be the best part.
It's going to be the best
Yeah.
part. Like with a keel, 2.5 hours into that one, it got
Yeah.
real.
That got sideways quick.
Got awkward.
Well, we've got a new face in.
We do.
Just lighten up the room from over there.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Adrian.
Adrian,
Oh.
cigars and guns.
Yeah, Amy Porter.
Adrian. Amy Porter.
Hello. How are we tonight?
We're
We
great.
all
Very
seem to
good.
know you by your comments that you make when you're on Saturday, watching Saturday at the shop.
There we go. Okay, good. Good evening, everybody. We've got Marty Upton. We've got Frank, who was in,
He was
Yes, Frank was in Stealing Whiskey.
and now he's in. He stole a lot of whiskey really fast.
in. Yeah.
Like he's just like, you know what?
Hey.
You know what he did is he comes up to me. He kind of makes his way up, and he goes, "Hey, is Amy back there?" He's like, "Yeah, Amy's back there." I was like, "Hey, can I go say hi to her?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. Go say hi." And he's back here just.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Busting
like
them
a
all the
soup line
time.
back here. He's just taking it through. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that?
What else should I try?
That's right.
We got Jerry Vaughn. We got Kathleen's not here, but she is here.
Yeah.
Marty Upton, of course. Sean Ratz is in, of course.
Ooh.
You know who's not in? And I guess we should send out a search party, but our friend from LaGrange, Missouri.
Larry Adams is
Larry
saying,
Adams.
if anyone's seen Larry Adams, please just tell him we're live now, so you can come on.
He might be at the
He's
bus
always
station.
online. He's always first.
He might be at the bus
He's waiting.
station getting ready to come down here.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because he is going to be here Thursday. When the store opens.
Got Oliver in. What's up, Oliver? Oaktown Pablo. We are smoking. This is the whiskey straw. It's been aged in a whiskey barrel for 3 months, 90 days, and you can really smell that.
Let's fire away. Yeah. So these, for everyone who's watching, these will be live on industrialcigars.co minutes after the show.
I think we're going to have to do a 10 limit on the whiskey straws and probably a 5 limit on the shot.
Yes, meaning we're only going to sell 10 and then we're going to smoke the rest.
Yes.
We believe in
I
sharing the
picked a
love.
good night.
Good pairing.
Chris Coulter is going to do everything he can to get up here Thursday night.
Oh, that would just
That'd
be
be
so
awesome.
cool. Is Larry okay? Someone do a welfare check. Yeah, everybody is just looking at. That's so cool. And Amy, usually we see your name pop through right now at this point, and it's so cool because we hugged it out up front, like we'd known each other forever. But this was the first time we ever met. I was like, but I've seen your name so many times. I've heard your name a million times. I'm familiar with Lone Elm, and it just felt right. It felt right to give you a big hug.
Well, I watch you guys every Saturday, like when I'm getting ready for work.
That's
I
not
know.
good. Andy's
Not good.
smarter.
But it's my entertainment. Hey, it's a good start to a Saturday morning. I was like, have a glass of whiskey, watch you guys. So
That's a good
Hey,
say.
at least you got the whiskey.
Yeah, you're just missing a cigar. And it's funny because there are other people who I connect with every morning as a part of work, but they're not into cigars. So they're always seeing me smoke cigars at 9 o'clock in the morning going, how do you do that? How do you do? And with whiskey, how many people, not on this, let's be clear, no one would think that. But everyone would go, how could you wake up on a Saturday and drink whiskey? Smoke good cigars and drink good whiskey.
We did it this morning. We did a barrel pick at 10:30 with Miss Melissa Starr from Sunset Whiskey. So yeah, we were drinking whiskey at 10:30 this morning. So rough
Makes
day.
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
And then between some point, you stop to get a bag of meat somewhere. She texts me, hey, this is a weird request, but I have a bag of meat. I can't leave it in my truck, which looks like she's on her way to or from a rally up there, if anyone sees that thing. She comes rolling with a bag of local meat.
Yes.
Where is it?
It's in that bag over there.
Does it need to be in a refrigerator?
No, I got it. So it
It's
was
a
all
cooler.
frozen. Yeah, it's from a local farmer.
Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's got ice. It's frozen. But there is beef belly in there if you're wondering, from Wagyu cow. So it's,
We need is
yeah.
Ooh.
all we need is a grill. We need Mike
Well, all we need to do is just throw it on the concrete outside. It's friggin' 120 degrees.
Yeah, it's too hot on the concrete. It would sear that
Speaking
thing up.
of early cigars and whiskey, we have a ICC golf get together every Sunday. The only rule is your cigars have to be lit by 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So we're usually through 3 or 4 cigars by the time we hit 1 o'clock. It's
Yeah, I can see that.
particularly as play gets slower during the summer months, and we smoke a lot of cigars.
You guys are dumbasses.
Uh-huh.
How could you go out and play? Did you step outside at 11 o'clock this
Yeah,
morning?
it was-
These
it
guys
was
still had 2 hours left.
Yeah.
You
It was
played
tough.
golf this morning?
No, I played, but Sunday it was just like today.
Yeah,
it was
no.
warm. It was really warm.
No, not at all. That's
And
it.
people are playing slow.
So we have
Hey.
Lisa. This is Lisa Ballard Finari. I'm gonna guess that's how you say it. You know who that is?
Yes, I do know who that is.
She says, "Hey, SSW family."
SSW. How many SSW folks are in the house? Because y'all know about the whiskey straw because the last time we announced it on the show, they were sold out by the time we were done with the show.
And that's a reason why I'm making an excuse right now because I didn't put it up in time.
Yeah,
but now I'm gonna turn it into an excuse. So that's the reason why we're gonna post it after this show because they were oversold by the time we got off the show.
Yeah.
And at that time we had like 500 whiskey straws and they zapped off.
Yeah, this will
Okay.
be. There's only about 330 of these, and there's only about
170-ish.
There was about 220, and then some asshole kid of mine was smoking them all.
It wasn't all me. It wasn't all me.
Okay, then who else was it?
Did you smoke
Pretty
any?
much all
Did
you.
smoke
No,
any? Oh.
no.
Did you
So
smoke
anyway,
any?
whiskey straw will go on sale tonight.
Plead the fifth.
And this is actually previously known as cease and desist, but the cease and desist have spent 2 months in the smoke wagon barrel. This has spent 3 months in the barrel, and that's why we wanted to make sure we were sharing this with our friends at SSW tonight.
So if you
Rodney has already sent in his order for 15. He wants 15.
You just said we were going to cap it at 10.
Well, Rodney can come in twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all well and good. If you are SSW, share this to SSW, and that way they can.
I did put it out there.
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh,
goodness.
thank God. Jesus Christ. Larry's alive. Okay. Whew. I thought Larry was gone. Larry, don't scare us like
I thought
that.
that was it.
I thought the world was just where Axis was all screwed up.
So, Amy, what are we drinking right now?
We're drinking some Lowdown whiskey, some straight wheat Texas wheat.
That sounds
that sounds
like you started drinking whiskey at 10:30. We're drinking wheat. That was some wheat with whiskey and wheat and shit and stuff.
Exactly. So that's what we're drinking.
Stop talking to me, officer. I'm trying to explain to you.
No,
I
we
have
can't.
wheat. It was just wheat water.
It's just wheat water.
God damn it, Adrian. Put your gun away.
It is just wheat water, right? That's all it is.
It is. It's so we get, like I was telling y'all before, we get our wheat right off the Trinity River Basin in Dallas. Our barley is from up in Amarillo in the Panhandle, and then the water is just straight Texas rainwater that's RO and UV purified. So it's Texas in a bottle. So what we're drinking is the small batch. Yeah.
There are only 3 ingredients.
Yes.
There's
Seriously?
3 ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, I guess there's just leaves in this.
Yeah.
We're just down to 1. We got a total of 4 ingredients on the table, and it's a party in
And
a
it's
pack.
a great time.
Yeah, I didn't know that's all it was. I didn't know it was just wheat, barley, and water.
Well, it just depends. Now, we're a whiskey. We're a straight whiskey. Now, bourbon is going to have corn in it. So it just depends on, so to make it a bourbon, it's 51% corn. So that's where you get your rye. So it's just depending on what the whiskey is or bourbon, it's the mash bill.
Can I ask a dumb question?
There's no dumb question.
Oh boy.
Maybe.
No challenge.
Well, wait till you see someone come rolling in here.
Yeah.
Why is it brown?
Which, for those who are just
Which I would like to know the answer to that.
for those who are watching, if you do have dumb questions, please humor us with it, and we'll go there. What the hell is rye?
What is rye? Rye is a type of grain. So
No, I don't think that's it. No, that can't be it.
What if she knows more than you?
No, that's not it.
So you're saying,
What?
is it rye like that you would put in like rye bread? Is it that kind of rye?
It's a kind of
grain.
bread.
It's
Okay,
a
let's
kind
keep going with this.
Okay, it's a kind of bread.
Okay.
Okay.
So when do you put the bread in? How do you make rye? Okay, so let's say wheat,
Okay, we're going with
barley.
this. Yeah.
Have you ever
Bread.
seen a rye seed? A rye seed looks like wheat, like a wheat seed.
Bitch, I'm from Nebraska. I seen corn.
Oh, you've
I
seen
understand
corn.
what corn was.
You've seen
Yeah.
corn and soybeans.
I've seen
What kind of
corn.
whiskey can you make out of that?
Ooh, soy beans. Is there whiskey
There is-
made out of beans?
I don't think there is right now.
Let's do it.
Sorghum is the new thing.
Sorghum.
Sorghum.
What's
I
that?
think I just felt your leg up. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
What is sorghum?
Sorghum's a grain as well.
Grains. Is this new to
You know what sorghum? You know what you do with sorghum? Seriously, you dry it and you pop it like popcorn, and it's awesome. Seriously.
Oh,
Did you guys know that?
It looks like a corn husk.
Yeah, it looks like a corn husk, and
yeah.
it just pops a smaller kernel, but it's awesome.
Yeah, there's a bunch in Prosper and Salina when you're driving. It looks like cornfields, but it's actually sorghum fields.
Yep.
Really? But it actually looks just like normal corn, huh?
But not as tall.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is.
You spent a lot of time on the farm out there, didn't you, when you lived in Nebraska? I definitely.
I was closer
tried
to the hood, thanks to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
More
Is there
learning
a-
going on
Is
there.
there a hood in Nebraska?
Yes, there
Oh,
is.
There's a serious hood in
Oh.
Omaha.
Yeah,
It's
I
serious.
actually grew up in it until I was about 12, and I was in it. Yep.
Yeah, Omaha is North Omaha.
It was Interstate 80 goes right across the center of the country, right through
Yeah.
Omaha. So it was a traffic way for a lot of the drug running that was going from Chicago to the West Coast. So Omaha became this kind of safe place to stop and do distribution to then kick south to Kansas City. So yeah, there became a pretty seedy group of people that migrated in that created some havoc.
See, I'm from
And I grew up
Wisconsin,
there.
And we didn't.
You didn't have.
No.
You had no hoods in Wisconsin.
I mean, Milwaukee, kind of, but it's pretty
Pretty
white.
Yeah.
Pretty rural.
It's too cold for hoods, right?
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with that.
No.
No.
Right, Adrian? He's from
Sure.
El Paso. He knows
Yeah.
all about the hood.
Yeah, but it's hot and warm out there, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what got you into whiskey?
Yeah, thanks, Pops.
Yeah. We're an equal opportunity offender here.
Let's continue.
Say, on the right
All
track.
you Eskimos, we're coming after you next. Drink some more. That's off an Eskimo. So why did you get into whiskey? God, you'd think I was actually drinking. this
Drinking
shit.
tonight. I
Okay,
have
okay.
worked in the service and hospitality industry forever. I went to school for environmental science and moved to Texas and realized there wasn't shit you can do with environmental science down
Environmental
here.
science.
Yeah, so I've always
Study rock.
loved whiskey, and one day I went to Lone Elm and said, hey, I'm going to start working for you guys. And that's literally how this story happened. And finally, the master distiller sat down with me and said, so are we going to start paying you one of these days? And so now I get a paycheck.
Ooh, that's good.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I don't just keep showing
I
up
hope Chris
there.
Pennington's not watching this.
Yeah. Wherever Pennington is.
Yeah.
Make sure he doesn't see that section.
Yeah, Megan is asking if we're saying weed or wheat.
I mean,
Definitely
we can,
wheat.
Yeah, definitely weed. We're not
Weed.
doing any of that out there.
No.
No CBD,
No.
Lone Elm CBD,
No.
whiskey infused, Delta 8. We learned all about
This
Delta 8.
this dude hooked up on some Delta 8 in Vegas.
Yeah.
No, it was like a gummy strip. It was a candy thing.
These
Well,
these
you know
stoners.
that's not just candy in there, right?
Oh, he found
Well,
out.
no, I found out.
These stoners were saying eat half, and they said half's good for me. And so what's he eat? A
The whole thing?
Well,
And
Nate,
then-
Nate just took probably the whole thing and just,
Nathan
Just
was
a whole.
unfazed.
yeah, he came back and
Nothing
said-
phases that kid.
No, I've seen him drink 30 beers and just be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's the
Nate's
biggest,
not normal.
burliest guy. He's
Yeah.
unaffected. So getting back to Lone Elm,
Yeah.
is that the licorice brothers?
Nope, that's Iron Root. The
That's
licorice-
Iron Root.
Yep,
Okay,
the licorice
okay.
brothers are Iron Root, which
Okay.
we love them very much. We have a project with them, Grayson, with Balcones and Iron Root.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like you're cut from the same cloth. Just
Yeah.
high quality, focus on doing the right thing, treating people right. So, Lone Elm, is that like a family-owned base? How is it run?
It's kind of a fun story. There was actually 5 of them. They all went to college together, and they went and did the Kentucky Bourbon Trail all the time and couldn't get the allocated stuff anymore. So college guys do. They were drinking around a campfire and talking shit, and one guy said, the master distiller said, I can make better whiskey than this. And so his buddy slapped down a $100,000 check, and then they all proceeded to slap down $100,000 checks, and here we are, still in debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's
a lot like ours.
That's not near enough money.
Yeah.
No.
There's one saying in the cigar business that if you want to make $1 million, start with 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure it's probably the same way
Oh, yeah.
with this.
But it's fun.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. Especially when the paycheck.
we were looking for
sometimes
the write-off opportunities anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got plenty of write-offs.
Gary Morris is saying that the Crux DC Du Connoisseur goes great with Lone Elm.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. It's both craft, both
yeah.
have depth to it. What we just drank. This is a small batch.
Yep, that's a small batch.
That's the one you were
very
talking
good.
about. That's the sipper,
Yep,
right?
That's
a
very
90
blend.
proof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So as the proof increases, because I don't drink, so as
Yeah.
the proof increases, how much does it impact your palate? Does it impact it with heat, or what is the impact that you get? Because I'm trying to think about as we're pairing cigars and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go with something that's a heavier proof with a lighter cigar? Try to create that counterbalance. What are some of the things that happen? Because I know that you get caramels and you get all these different unique notes, and I'm just hoping that as you get to the higher proof, how does that impact your palate?
So with ours, every whiskey is going to be different that way. With ours, you're going to notice a lot more of the characteristics of the whiskey in the single barrel. But again, with Texas heat, it's so different. So we can actually have the same mash bill, the same distillation with it, and where it ages in the rick house is going to be totally different in flavor.
Because of heat? As it's aging?
Yes,
Okay.
because of where it ages. So if it's against the wall, we're typically getting like this dark chocolate cherry bomb of flavors. On the outside, we get more of like an oakiness, and then in the middle, it's that sweet spot of like, with the barrel, I believe the barrel that I brought for y'all is one of my favorite ones right now. It's kind of got like a toffee, it's very creamy texture, so it has that coating of your mouth like a cigar does almost. It's gonna be, please go for that one.
That's my favorite.
This is a 121.
Yes, but it doesn't. No, when you drink it, it's not gonna drink it. I need to finish this. So this one is gonna be more on the nose and on the palate. On the front of the palate, you're gonna get that toffee, that creamy butterscotch. Towards the end, it's that chocolate cherry. That's typically what our flavor profile is, and a lot of that creaminess. It's almost like that creme brulee type.
None of that sounds bad. None of that sounds bad. But for me, the overall impact of the palate, from what I've tried a couple of times, like the low proof is maple syrup, right? It's smooth and it's awesome and there's no burn. And then the super high proof is battery acid, where you it's so hot. It's so hot. It's the whole palate you can feel like it lights it up.
And with
what you're explaining doesn't sound like it does that too much.
No, when you nose it, this is definitely one you're gonna want to taste, let it open up, and then retaste it again. If it doesn't drink, with the wheat, it kind of softens it. Yeah. So it's scary in the fact that you don't really know that you're drinking a
That's a problem. That would be a problem.
That's haterade.
That's haterade. That's tie on some monkey shoulder. That is bad news because there's a little bite, but if you're just hanging, you're sipping it, boy, the night could get away from you quick on that.
So William LaRue Weller is who my master distiller really wanted to start producing like, because that's what they couldn't get anymore. So we've picked a few barrels where it's like you just nose it and it's straight Weller. But we have our own characteristics with it. So it's really fun how it all differentiates. And especially we started in the 15-gallon barrels. So it's a smaller barrel, you pick up more of the oaks and the tannins, versus now we're pulling from the 30s. So it's just, we're getting a lot of fun differentiations with it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we need a lone elm barrel for our next whiskey straw.
Yes, there are a lot of things that the reason why Amy is here is, yes, we're gonna hang and do this, but what happens when we hit done on this? We're gonna have some ideas of what's gonna happen.
Well, I'll tell you what,
we're going running.
She should be at front and center at Hackfest.
Oh yeah,
that'd be a reason people would sign up for Hackfest if they knew that Amy was here with Bono.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Mark Myers is coming in from the Dominican, so I guess we should do a good evening, mate, to Mark Myers in the Dominican. Good evening, mate. That's how that sounds, just like where he's at right now.
Or hola.
Or
hola. I mean, if you want to say it wrong, that's fine.
To each their own. And those who are watching, Gary Morris has logged in no less than 1,000 times. So Gary Morris, appreciate you hopping in here. If you are SSW family, throw a share on this. They need to see
What's
this.
up, Kevin? What's up? So Sherry cask finished Lone Elm cigars.
Oh.
That could work.
Sean Ratz.
That could work.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Sean's just an idea person.
Yeah.
he's all about it. And she's going logically. She's going
I'm
logistically.
like,
how am I going to make that happen?
No, I'm just wondering because that's a 66-gallon barrel, so that's a big one. But that would be a lot of fun. The honey barrel would be another fun one.
So a regular barrel, like the barrel we have sitting that we age these in, is how big? 50 gallons, or what is that?
The typical one is 53.
Okay, so I think that's what
is
we
that
have.
what you have?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, 66 wouldn't be much bigger than that at all.
We can get.
I didn't know. Yeah, that
We
We have
put about
racks.
1,000.
We could put over 1,000 cigars in the 53.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We can make it a staple of what we have. And we could do.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so.
The wheels.
Yeah,
are
honey.
spinning.
So Michelle's saying honey barrel.
Yeah.
A big wow to Sean Ratz. Can't wait for the honey. That's
So you
what I'm
guys got
curious.
some. You have some of this honey.
I do. I pulled some just special for y'all. 'Cause-
Thank you.
Yes.
It was very similar if I'm going to your house or we're going to somebody's house.
Yeah.
I've got something special.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait right here.
Cameron had his first child. They said, I got a cigar for you. It's from 1977. It's this, and I walked through it. The text that you sent me,
Yeah.
what was it, yesterday?
It was like 9:30
Yeah.
on Saturday night. I was like, I hope it's not too late, but I'm so excited.
I pulled this and I pulled this, and I'm going, that sounds good. That sounds good. I know exactly the feeling, and it's. Thank you for bringing this. Thank you for being here. This is, I would say, this is going pretty well.
Well, you guys are doing great.
Yeah.
You're drinking a little slower. I want to see you guys drink the honey badger.
Honey Badger.
That sounds like a pretty good house stick. That's infused.
Oh,
With the honey
yes.
badger.
The
Yeah.
honey badger.
Maybe it's the honey badger, where you get like a little carboncito,
Yeah.
and you put that in.
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe some Edgar cigar that we could put in the honey badger.
Yes.
Edgar's Connecticut would be awesome in that.
I couldn't agree more.
It would just.
Okay, cool.
Absorb.
Honey badger, I like
Yeah,
that.
The honey barrel is.
Amy's
so
looking
fun
at your
too.
ash like that's about to
Yeah.
fall. It's not.
No, I know it's not.
Yeah.
I could literally stand
Yeah.
it up right now. And it would
No, I was just hoping because I tapped mine before. I was so nervous because I was like, well, I'm gonna have an ash like fall in my lap because it does every
Yeah,
time.
it's already happened.
Yeah, we
And then
already
I saw
happened.
you do it, and I was like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
good. We don't have to worry about
The
ashes.
rule of thumb, and this used to be a Cigar 101, but the rule of thumb is let the ash fall off when it wants to. An ash like this indicates great construction, which obviously an Atabey is going to have great construction. But they actually used to use tobacco ash in the 1600s as a cleaning element. They used to brush their teeth with it. So
Great
if it-
teeth the Brits
if
have,
they-
by the way.
but
Great
they would
teeth
take
there.
tobacco ash, they would rub it on rugs, and then they would scrub it in, and then they would beat that out. But this, so if it falls on your clothes, it's not
Yeah.
going to hurt anything.
It
No,
is
it's,
so
I would just be
surprising.
more embarrassed that I'm like sitting here just ashing
Oh,
on
no.
myself. But
No.
no.
But with Atabays, you could like he can probably take that and tap it. It's not
Yeah.
gonna fall off.
You know what? Can you? That's long enough. It's probably gonna fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's long enough.
That was long.
My bad.
That's right. It would have stood.
Yeah. Honey badger, don't give an F. I'm telling you, we're getting. I
Yeah.
think that could be a fun project to do. And my whole problem is because we can't sell liquor, we can't do this cool, barrel pick. We do barrel picks with SSW, but could we figure something out where we do some sort of project there?
Yes, of course we can. And I mean, I would love to just keep this here for you as well, so that people can continue to
Oh,
just keep a stock for it.
Look,
so
we
people
have.
can drink it.
This is like. If you ever wondered where people go after they leave an AA meeting, they all just come here.
Yeah.
So this is where they're at the other 6 days or 6 nights
Yeah.
a week. So
Yeah.
they'll gobble this stuff
Yes.
up, like,
Yeah.
and it's going to turn into a whole bunch of sales. I guarantee you that.
This is step 1 through 11.
Yes.
I think that's what happens
Yeah.
in here.
I gotta get him out of the program again.
So,
Yeah.
so there's a pistol. It's called the Honey Badger. So when you said that, I was like, 300 blackout pistol.
Oh,
Yeah.
We pair it with that.
That's
Man.
pretty.
there's going to be a
There's
lot.
nothing
There's
more-
going to be a lot
there's
of good
nothing-
things happening.
There really is nothing better than just a bottle of whiskey and a pistol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong.
Nothing
bad.
can go wrong.
No. No.
So Eric Clinton, if you remember, he chimed in with us last week. He's going to come by, and he's going to bring some good cognac, some smokes. But Eric, save your smokes. We got plenty here, and he's going to bring us a Colt 1911 45.
Nice.
Yep. Right on. Eric, looking forward to having you for sure. Gary Morris coming in with Rehabbers for Quitters. We have a whole business that is sustained on that model. No, all the way through. So, how many different are you focused on expanding into different liquor stores, big box stores, getting that way? I know you do a lot of projects on the backside with SSW, and I'm sure a million of other different clubs. But what is the key element of focus for Lone Element for you?
Right now, it's growth and distribution in other states. We have it in Texas. Being our home market, it's our hardest market in a way because we're competing with all the other Texas whiskeys, and Texas is just where everybody's coming right now. You know,
Yeah,
so
that's bad.
it's hard. It's the growth that we've seen the past since like October of last year. It's really spiraling. We just landed North Carolina and New Mexico this year. I'm working on we're working on Wisconsin, my home state, so I really wanna get back there. But yes, in starting new projects, my master distiller loves Maker's Mark, so he wanted to he's one of those, I'm gonna stick with single barrel and small batch, but this isn't the field of dreams. Like, it's not build it and they will come. We need to keep up with the times, so that's why when I came on, we did the sherry cask, and then the honey, which we just did. We got a few months ago, so we worked with the local honey farmers. We have a market every third Saturday, which I was telling you about, and we do all the local farmers, vendors from Kaufman County, and bring them out. It's just like a big party out there. So he took our barrels, soaked them in honey, did a honey barrel whiskey, barrel aged honey, and now we took the barrel back, poured honey in it, and so that's how we're doing our honey project. So like Garrison Brothers, they do it in infusion. I think Belle Meade does an actual like real infusion, but
So when you say infusion, because in cigars that's a different thing. Infusion is just a fancy way of saying flavored. What is the infusion process? They just dump honey in the.
yes.
Okay. So
So they're just adding it per gallons, per however, for the most part.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Okay.
But
Yeah, they all hide in cigars.
yes.
They all hide their method of no, we do it this way. No, they just most of them just flavored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and
with
this is-
ours, it's real honey that comes from Kaufman County. Well, some of it's from Waco, some of it's from Kaufman County, and yeah. But we'll taste that next. You guys are out there. This is
The infusion for cigars, though, is there? I've heard where the cigar's already constructed, and then the dip type thing.
Some dip it.
Is
yeah.
there some where the
Some will
leaf,
spray it.
most will spray.
Yeah.
the leaf?
Yeah, and you'll actually see when you go to, for instance, with Swishers, with the very low quality,
Yeah.
they legitimately have paint guns full of sweet solution,
Sugar, yeah.
and they open it up and they're spraying it,
so they're spraying the actual leaf itself.
the wrapper
Okay.
leaf.
Yeah.
Yep, and then they just
Okay.
put it over some subpar tobacco and call it good.
Yeah.
The others infuse, where they say it goes through this process of dehumidification, atomizing botanicals, letting it rehumidify. Who really knows? Because they don't actually let people in those rooms. And at the end, I think they just have a better way of bringing it together. The long and difficult way is aging, like the barrel aging. This, when you smoke, you get an essence that it's part of it.
Yes.
It doesn't taste like this on your lips. It's just changed the complexity of the cigar.
That's where the caramel and a lot of notes that you don't normally get in a cigar come out because of the whiskey that it's been in.
Yeah.
This barrel's kind of, I think this barrel lost its intensity, but I'll tell you, when you have a barrel that's got full intensity when you pop the lid, best example is our friends at Distretto Coffee that took one of our barrels. We had a Hotel Tango barrel, and they put the beans in it, and they're making cold brew with that and bringing that over on Saturday. It's ridiculous.
That stuff is super good.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so how can you tell me about how do you age cigars in a barrel then?
We have racks made. We actually use pipe, the things that you would throw a pizza on in an oven.
Yeah.
It's open. We have mesh around it so you can stand the cigars up, and then we have it set up so you can stack multiple ones inside there, and we can just stack this big, and it's this big around, and it's just full of cigars.
Then it's just mother time.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just.
It just
So
sits
they're already
there.
rolled. It's not the.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
completed.
Okay.
This is the way they're coming out of the barrel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. They go in, go out. So that way we can see what it starts as, and then as it completes. And this little cease and desist, which is going to be called the shot when this releases, it is so close to a Cinnabon. It's this buttery cinnamon. It's got this little bite to it, a little salty, it's the cease and desist is the normal cigar, and it starts very elegant, very
The cease and desist
smooth.
alone is very botanical and floral,
Very floral.
but and then
this barrel just
I
pulled
can
that in.
imagine,
It just makes it nice and deep. It's
I would
very
be
nice.
real curious if we were going to roll a cigar. There's a method that Chasero uses. Chasero from Mexico also has their winery. So imagine a rolling pin with cloth over it, So what they do is they soak that with their red wine, and then when the binder is down, they roll it with the rolling pin, and they basically roll the wine into the binder.
Interesting.
And it gives you that red wine essence that's in the Maduro. It would be interesting if you did that.
That would be the real
if you rolled like the honey into the binder of the cigar and then rolled it and let it sit and rest and let that thing come together. I bet you that would be incredible. Be very labor intensive.
Well, but at the end, what we could do is we could test that in December when we do Night at the Factory again. We could play with all of that. We could give that
because
to
we'll
them
have
and
rollers
test it.
here.
We'll have rollers. Yeah,
we could literally take some of this and just soak. It's a rolling pin with a cloth on it.
I watched that video too.
Yeah, but you just roll that on and then roll the cigar. Obviously, the more it sits, the more it's going to soak. I don't think it would affect the wrapper that much because you're rolling the inside. But
and once it dries out, it
dries out, it's going to dry out fast. That could be really interesting.
I'm looking forward to this honey badger project, though.
Yeah, that could be really cool.
So I do have a question, a cigar newbie question. So I know how to palate whiskey, but how do you palate a cigar? And like you were saying, how do you pair them? Like I've always wondered how.
Well, the technical answer is that your whiskey has a particular pH level. Tobacco has a particular pH level. So in a perfect world, you pair up the pH levels and they match. So if your pH is a 7.111 and this is a 7 point whatever, that's close enough. Some may be further apart. But from a palate perspective, I think there's first of all you have to tell yourself to just not think about the flavor of tobacco, which is probably the same thing with this. And I know it's like that with coffee. Just set the flavor of coffee aside and just kind of concentrate on that. But the main thing is just retrohaling it, is pulling it in and releasing it the last 5% or so, let it come through your nose because the olfactory nerves are in your sinuses. You don't actually taste anything on your palate other than sugar, salt, bitter, and things like that. But it's really your nose that picks that up. So just retrohaling, trying to keep the smoke very cool, slow, just a slow pull, release it, push a little bit through your nose. That's what will bring the cedar and a lot of the real dominant background notes forward.
The best process, if you were to look at it as a step, where with whiskey you bring it, breathe in through your nose, bring it in, hold it, swallow it, then exhale, then really taste it. That's kind of the right method?
Yes.
With a cigar, you want to take a low, long draw, as slow as you can make it to fill up as much smoke, but as cool as possible. Then once that's in, let it sit, then exhale a little bit, and then start testing it through your nose. And then
what that'll do is all of a sudden you'll taste the volume on your palate will just go through the roof. So once you retrohale that, all of a sudden, if the tingle sensation was a 2, it goes to a 5 or a 6. Okay. But the key is you want to bring the smoke in as cool as you can, so that when you retrohale, the heat doesn't fire up your sinuses.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and you can kind of chew on it when you're retrohaling. If you chew and kind of move your palate around, you'll start picking some things up. And I tell this to everyone is, don't worry if you don't taste the flavors, because it's not as easy to taste flavors in smoke as it is as something that's familiar. Finding the objective truths of the cigar is so much easier than finding the subjective flavors. What I mean by that is, what is it saying to you? What is it doing on your palate? Is it dancing? Is it lightly blanketing over? Is it smooth? Is it something that's nice? Does it pinpoint one side of your palate? Let that tell you what the story is, and the flavor is just bonus. Yeah. Instead of going, I just don't get it, I don't taste it.
People will refer to a cigar as balanced, and typically balanced means you're going to have everything in your palate's going to be entertained, instead of a particular spot that's kind of hot spot and everything else is kind of left alone, and you just feel this impact on a very particular part of your palate, which your palate is identifying pH levels. So you want to get something that's got good balance, that's that's smooth. Now there are some tobaccos that you can put in that will create pepper, that will create cedar, that will create different flavor effects. But overall, they're trying to blend that so that it smooths out, entertains everything on your palate. But it's like an orange. If you bit into an orange but didn't breathe, all you would feel is the impact. You wouldn't actually taste that it's an orange until you actually push it through your nose.
Okay.
So you can try it. I mean, I'll do it for you here.
Frank Tomaszewski coming in. As soon as Amy walks out of that room, I'm gonna jump her and grab the bottle and run. We are highly armed, Frank. We're highly armed.
Cigars and guns in the house.
Yeah, for sure. And we got Kevin Ochoa. I saw my man Kevin chiming in. I do need to get if somebody wants to buy some of this, where would they buy it?
So
in the DFW
we're in
area.
Specs, Total Wine, Goody Goody, Independence.
Everywhere.
Yeah, so we're pretty much everywhere. And if you can't find it, ask your liquor store, and they will provide it for you.
So here's my question about Texas whiskey as it relates to the universe. Do people view I'm going to just use this example. A lot of people, they have a certain attitude towards Nicaraguan tobacco. They have a certain attitude towards Dominican. They have a certain attitude towards Cuban. They have all of these perceptions, but Mexico right now is making growing some of the finest tobacco in the world. But a lot of people are down on Mexican tobacco because they went to Mexico, they got fake Cubans, they assumed it was made in Mexico, and it was a bad experience. So if you have a whiskey purist, what's their attitude towards Texas whiskey?
It's a very good question.
Yeah.
First pause, honey.
Honey.
We're gonna pour this honey badger to get the party started. A lot of views on Texas whiskey for a long time have not been good.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you'll definitely want to nose that one. This one, when I
Wow.
tried it, I was like, it was as if
Does it smell like honey?
creme brulee and banana Fosters had a baby minus the bananas. There's no bananas. But
It's just all
that-
Fosters.
Oh, wow. Just smell
But
it.
it's not sweet. It's not.
But it
like,
does have it has that burnt sugary smell that you get from creme brulee.
Yes.
But it definitely has a honey note.
So enjoying getting my smelling back.
But yeah, it's not overpowering. I know when I say that, a lot of people are like, ooh, that's going to be too much. It doesn't taste like that fake finish. It tastes just like it was softened.
Very
a
satisfying.
little bit. Mhm.
Wow. It does. It has that. Now you're telling me, so I'm looking for it, right? But the sensation of that charred top of the creme brulee, of that charred, sugary,
Yeah, that brown sugar.
like the toasted sugar, right? That's what I pick up. You get that little bit of, like the outside. You'd love this. You should start drinking now because it's like the,
I'm about ready to go in.
It's like the,
Honey, forgive me.
Here you go.
it's
You're
like
gonna
the
be
marshmallow.
Ferrari.
It's like the marshmallow if you cook it too much like an idiot, right?
Yeah,
And then
that's
you
why I
just
like it.
yeah, right. And then you just pull the top off and eat it.
That's the
the best
perfect
part.
description.
That's the best part, too.
Description. But to answer your question, a lot of people have been very unfavorable about Texas whiskey for a long time.
Man, that's
But for good reason.
we got to do something with
The
this.
heat does great things, but it can also, they're just a lot of young things. I say things a lot. That's my word right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, they're only aging for about 12 months, maybe 18 months, sometimes even 6 months. So it's not going to be that fully finished aged bourbon whiskey that you're used to. Kentucky delivers a smoothness that people like. Texas is going to give it that bite. It's going to give it that oakiness. It's going to give it a little bit more of that heat. Now, I was just at the Texas Whiskey Festival in April. We've got a lot. This state has a lot of good things now. We're starting to slow down a little bit. The aging process, letting things happen. But like I said, at the barrel pick that I was doing this morning, so our 15 gallons right now, when you pull it at 4 years, it's perfect. It's comparable to a 10-year Tennessee bourbon. So the way Texas works is we age about 10 to 15% faster
Because
than
of the
Kentucky
heat?
because of the heat.
Okay.
and we don't do anything temperature controlled. So right now, our rick house is baking at, 100 and some odd degrees?
Sure.
So it's closed up for, besides Saturdays when we do the tours. So it's baking in a hot box. So it's gonna get that heat. It's gonna pick up on all of the notes of the barrel. So you were saying like, why is it brown? It's because from the barrel. So it's gonna pick that up. So when it goes in, it's clear, but all of the color comes from the barrel. So we actually do a char and a toast on it, and that's why you're getting that dark texture.
So,
JP.
So with tobacco when it's fermenting goes.
He has no idea.
What is he saying?
But yeah, no, we gotta know.
Speaking of hot box,
Speaking of hot box, oh my God, this
Okay.
is
So now
actually
JP's in it. for sure.
two very good. These are the two best comments JP's ever delivered. But you were saying
JP
things,
is nodding.
but-
I'm nodding in acknowledgement, but
JP
know that
is
'cause he just
Dave is nodding a lot, and then as you were just continuously going, it just said Dave has no clue what's going on.
No, I don't. But I want to learn. I want to learn. So tobacco goes through when it's fermenting at about 12 months, starts going through a 6 stage where for about 4, 5, 6 months, it's kicking off straight ammonia. It's just bad.
It's
But it's a
murder.
chemical reaction that happens. Is there ever a point where, as tobacco or as whiskey ages, is there ever a point where you just go, no, we can't? It's going to be really bad if we take it out of the barrel at this point, or like you say, there's 6 months, or there's 12 months, or whatever the case may be. But is there a point in time where it's no go? You just don't want to do it. It's either too early, or what we would call young tobacco that would just really throw things off from a flavor profile.
Yes, and that's going to be your underage whiskeys. Now, some people like it. Some people like Still Austin. Still Austin is crushing it in Texas, and they're only doing a 2-year age statement. I would say they have more of that Kentucky style, where they're doing it more of their bourbon style, but they're doing it in 2 years. We don't ever get a point where it's like funky. I shouldn't say that. There are certain times where it ages in the rick house. We've pulled some barrels before and it's straight funk, and that's after 4 years. But typically during the aging process, it's not. My master distiller is just very keen on, we have to have a 4-year age statement. He's very much so on, we have to have 7 days for fermentation. He wants everything done how it was done back in the day. So yeah, but yes, we do get some funk in Texas because of the heat, which is when we went in 2015 to the Chairman's Trophy, we actually took second place to Pappy 20 year.
holy shit.
At a 2-year age statement. And that was just straight hot boxing. So we got in shipping containers and we were just playing around with whiskey. So we just let these barrels sit in a hot box. So at 2 years we were getting the same product as we are now, but it's
you're saying that
just
heat
small.
accelerates that process
Right.
versus like Kentucky or something.
Yes.
Well, it's
Yes,
interesting because there's a manufacturer that is Perdomo that most people know, and what we saw is it's very disrespected in the industry by manufacturers because they roll the cigars before the fermentation is done. Then they stick them in an aging room that is hot as hell. It's very humid, it's hot, and the fermentation isn't done. And they cook it afterwards, which would be like cooking a steak in the microwave. So
it would be like bottling at 6 months and then letting the bottle sit there for
exactly. Yeah, just leave the cork off and let it sit there for a few years, right? And it worked for them because all the ammonia at some point cooks off, but so does all the flavor. Everything just gets cooked, and people don't necessarily care that smoke this particular brand because
it's got a
what do you like
certain
about
bitterness
it?
to it.
It's smooth and I like the taste. It doesn't have the depth to it. It cooks it all off. So when you see that with tobacco, you can't just add heat to it. You have to really let it go low and slow, like a Texas barbecue,
sure.
right? You really have to take that time, which is really cool to see from Lone Elm how you can hedge the Texas heat to the benefit.
Yeah.
And to be standing up with names like that, that's serious.
Well, and it's fun because the temperature is how we get the fluctuations in the barrel too. So like when we had the freeze, like that's going to put a huge dent on what we get. So it could be a totally different aging profile. Like we don't know what's going to happen. So it's fun in some ways. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you tried anything that went through the freeze?
No, I haven't. No,
That's
I haven't.
scary stuff.
So
It would
it's gonna be.
yeah, you gotta think it's gonna be a jolt to the system there for
Yeah.
a week. You know, it was cold for a week.
It was cold.
It was cold. It was Nebraska and Wisconsin cold.
Yeah.
That's how cold it
They
was.
just, people just don't understand. We had that for 2 months.
Yeah.
They had it for a week, and we
had
gotta
it for
file our
6.
taxes 2
Let's
months
be
later.
serious.
Yeah.
Let's be
Nebraska
serious.
is tropical compared to
Yeah, that's
Wisconsin.
true. That is true.
Yeah, that's the coldest I've ever been. In Minnesota, Mankato, Minnesota.
Oh.
Without wind chill, negative 31 degrees.
That's why I moved to Texas. As I came down here, it was January 31st of 2013. I'll never forget this. And it was negative 27 degrees back home without the wind chill. Negative 27.
Yeah.
And I was standing here in a long sleeve shirt with no jacket. It was 71 degrees on Lower Greenville. And I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is
you're here,
it.
yeah. Summer's hot, but the winter will keep you.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. No, I commuted for a year, so I'd go home on the weekends and come down here for a week.
What?
And during the winter, or during the winter months, I'd go. It'd be like sitting outside in shorts, and I'd call home. How's everything going? Brandon's out shoveling the driveway. And I get home, and it's 3 feet of snow, and it's. I remember we had 22 days in a row that the high never got above 22 below zero with wind chill.
Yeah. I don't know how we even survived. Now my friends will laugh at me because I'll be like, it's 60 degrees and I'm in sweatpants and a sweatshirt because I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's toasty.
so what do y'all think of the honey?
It's incredible. What's up, Adrian? You've been
Yeah,
quiet
no, I was
over there.
gonna say we have to ask
He
Adrian.
looks like me on gummies.
Yeah, it's these two. Yeah,
He's just staring.
There's a reason why I'm quiet, because these two paired together is just, it's like no other.
It's a good.
I would think that would be with the whiskey straw and
Yeah,
and
it's
so much of the characteristics of the
Oh,
whiskey
factory
in that.
bitch.
okay. What are you doing?
I did factory cut,
Okay, what's
so I'll just take my fingernail and I'll roll it around it once, and then the second time I'll just pinch the cap,
Peel the cap off.
and then it's easy that way.
Yeah.
so you don't cut your finger off on Adrian's?
Yes,
Just nice.
no, yeah. And how many gnats have been circumcised on this fucking thing? I can't tell you.
I'll tell you, like when I went to Cuba, we didn't have a cutter, so we got pretty precise with that cutting method. You get it?
This cigar is incredible.
The cigar before it sits in the barrel is spectacular. It's made just for
Oh, that's
us.
so much different than this. You've got to try that, because this is just, it's so buttery. You know when you have that warm chocolate chip cookie that just melts and it just sits on your palate.
Yes.
You don't feel anything. That's what that is. This has another element of depth where it kind of dances,
bounces, yes,
right? It moves
yes.
around. This one, it bounces. That's a good way to put it. That thing you can smoke that in about 8 minutes because you just want more of it. It's infectious. This is.
Adrian's going, so what time are you putting those up on the website?
I know.
Well, you got the inside track, bud. You don't have to wait for that.
Thank you.
No, we're good. We're just running to the shop after this, and I'm out.
I mean, I can make them live now if I steal your.
So so this is the one that was in
Mason jar?
this was in what's in that? That's your new moonshine line that's coming out?
That is my heart and soul right there. So when I first started with Lone Elm, like I was saying, a master distiller, didn't want to branch out, didn't really want to do anything. But like everybody else, you need to keep with the time. So we did a finished whiskey. We did it Oloroso sherry cask, and we did a distillery only release in December, so I could show him people do like this. It went over really well. So we got 466. I haven't been drinking whiskey at all.
No. Should have started at 10:30.
Yeah.
46 44s.
Times 5. So 4 66-gallon barrels. So that's European wine size. So we got them shipped over. They sat in port during the storm forever, and then we filled them in April. So they'll sit for about 4 to 5 months. I need to start tasting it now about every week. I know,
Sounds like
rough,
something you guys should be
Yeah.
doing.
rough job.
Yeah, it's a rough job.
Mm-hmm.
But QC, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. No, those were beautiful though. When they came in, like the sherry that came from Spain is a totally different sherry than what we have here in the States. It was so good.
How does that work? How do you reach out to, because you said it's with La Rosa?
It's Oloroso, so Oloroso's sherry. Yep.
So how does that work when you start looking at that? Is that stuff you reach out to them and say, hey, we want to buy your old barrels, and they sell them to you?
Yes.
Pretty simple process. to
Pretty
do it?
simple process. So there's a couple barrel companies like in the United States that you actually get your barrels from that we order from, and then they work with sister companies that do aged whiskeys, and you can
Like
kinda,
a broker or something?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
But then there are just different companies that just like Rocky Mountain Barrel ISC. They just get different barrels, and you can just get them off the internet as well.
Okay.
So like that's what we'll be doing with our honey when we're done with them. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do with 30 of them. So.
Well, I can tell you, I've got about 13.
We've got a
that
couple
are gonna
of them. Yeah,
We
we've
can
got-
age some cigars in
Well,
that.
that's
Yes.
interesting. Do you have to be a whiskey distiller to get a barrel, or could these guys get a barrel?
No, anybody can get barrels.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an idea.
It's an idea. I'd rather just team up with them and
Yes.
just.
Oh,
Because then
Yeah,
you get
sure.
then you get the Oloroso, then you get the whiskey, kind of get the whole
I was
honey
thinking
age.
tequila. Do they have tequila barrels?
So, well, we actually.
Oh yes, please keep talking. Please keep talking.
So
The
tequila.
heads there.
Tequila. I am working on a project to actually get us some tequila to start aging in our whiskey barrels. So I'm working. I'm talking with a company right now. I can't give it away yet, but they're doing some really, really, really great stuff. Their Blanco you can sip on. That's yeah. So we'll just keep it
Might
at
be a
that.
supplier for our friend that's looking to do that.
We could look.
Yeah.
We could look.
So I really want to get some tequila to start doing because tequila.
Because
But I
tequila.
also think doing some type of tequila finish,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
so we can kind of do the whole process with it. My distiller was a rum distiller as well, so I'm not a big rum fan, but I know that there are a lot of rum people out there.
But
Yeah,
but there have to be
Two.
10x tequila people, especially.
Oh,
could
sure.
you imagine
Yeah.
taking like this, getting that agave, that syrupy, that
Yeah.
caramel, that butterscotch flavor that's
Yeah.
finished with something like this?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would be perfect.
The dark chocolate and the cherry is what I'm really curious to see how that takes with the agave.
How long before you really developed your palate enough to pick out each individual flavor? Did you have it pretty much straight away?
No. It's been honestly working at the distillery has been my biggest thing. And my little kudos fun pat on the back was when the master distiller finally realized like women have more of a profile than
Yep.
men do. So now I get to do the palating. So I'm like, woo! No, that was my fun day at the distillery when the master distiller handed me the glass and was like, okay, it's your turn to palate this.
Wow,
So
nice.
This is
now I
it.
go through
Yeah.
that, but it takes a while. I mean, it's just like cigars. Like I don't know how to. I know what I like, but I don't know how to palate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just takes so long. And just the acceptance of knowing where you're at, going, yeah, I'm not looking for cherry.
Yep.
I'm looking for what this is.
Gary says just go ahead and put the honey bottle in
Yeah,
locker
it's lovely.
46.
Yeah, no, he said that like 8 times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
that's
time
not
he
the
logs
first
back
time.
in.
Oh, we got a question rolling in over on this side?
Yeah. Hey, Chibi from Las Vegas, and then Bright Junior 08. What do you think of the Monte Cristo 2?
Monte Cristo number 2?
Yeah.
Cuban,
Cuban.
or Dominican?
Probably Cuban.
Probably Cuban.
Yeah.
I believe I have a great nostalgia with that cigar.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had that as a first cigar.
Yeah.
And it's it's probably like you're sipping whiskey. It's anybody can have that cigar, and
Yeah.
you can throw a blanket over 100 people and they're gonna like that cigar. It is the same as several other cigars that come out of that factory, but it's just a good medium light.
Yeah.
It's a torpedo, so it does have a little bit better performance than a lot of the stuff that's coming out of
And
Cuba today.
the
but-
difference that we have is you found out Santa Claus isn't real. And he went to the factory in Cuba and found out Santa Claus isn't real.
Wow. How
I
did that
haven't.
be for you?
It was okay. It was just I see a lot of people that just argue over certain Cuban cigars. No, this one's much better than this one. And then when I got to the factory and found out they only make one cigar, they just put different labels on it. It was like you could think that, but it also shows how much a cigar is in your
Yeah,
brain.
but people, those are probably similar people that say, no, I only V-cut because V-cut makes a big
Right.
difference.
Yeah.
Someone asked me that today, what's the difference between a V-cut and a straight cut? And the answer is
Whichever one you like.
whichever one you like.
Whichever one you like.
It doesn't matter. It's all theoretical at the end. And there's a reason why the manufacturer's straight cut. But to me, the Monte Cristo number 2, because I didn't find out, and it's a Bellicoso, it's a torpedo like what he was smoking.
Okay.
Cuban number 2, that was our special cigar. And I think that might have been the cigar when you busted us.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was the Monte number 2
Yeah.
that
we have to
we
hear
started
this story.
smoking together. I mean,
it's a good story.
I'll post that up. Actually, I have it keyed up to go out this week. Us getting busted. There's a story on our YouTube channel for it, but
Yeah.
it was a cool story where I used to buy cigars for my younger brothers when they were underage, and he came out many years later, and we were sitting in the backyard and smoking cigars, and we put it down, thinking we were in deep shit.
They're in college. They're adults.
I don't know if we were that old.
In the
yet.
hot
Yeah, you were. You were down on spring break. It was in May. You guys were on spring break.
And like he couldn't smell the cigars.
That's
No,
the
I
thing. He turned around and went inside. We knew.
I smelled it, turned around, went inside, and they're like, oh shit. So they're hiding it behind on the hot tub. They got beer sitting there, but they're hiding it. And I just went in and grabbed some cigars and said, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right. And so we smoked the Monte number 2, and it's
Monte number 2.
so it has more sentimental flavor. I mean, I'll smoke the Atabey Duendes over that Monte number 2
No doubt.
any
No doubt.
day. It's
No
not
doubt.
even
I
close.
won't turn it down if someone has the money.
Yeah.
number 2.
That tells
I'm
me
in. Yeah.
that tells me where they're at too. Because
Yeah.
if they're smoking this particular Cuban,
Right.
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
For some reason, I could say there are 3-4 Cuban cigars where if somebody's smoking that, they really know what they're doing. Not they got some Cubans, but if there are a few of them where you go, okay, I got you.
Yep.
Now it gives you a chance.
If
to
someone
blow
comes
away.
up with the Cohibas, I'm like,
Really?
really?
If it's a Mexican, 54, something like that.
If it's real,
beautiful.
Sure.
But there are.
But I'd take a
If it's
picture of
real.
some of Dave and say, what do you think?
So there are a lot of fake cigars.
More
a lot of fake Cubans.
More fake
particularly
Cubans.
Cohiba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's probably more fake Cubans than there are real Cubans.
by
Yeah,
far.
yeah.
By far.
It's
And
a weird
literally
world.
scraps off the floor. Literally.
If you go to Alibaba, you could type in Cohiba box, and you'll see.
You can get the whole
100%.
kit. You get the box.
Everything.
You get the Cuban label. It's a bad fake label, but you get the whole starter kit. All you got to do is find somebody to make you some really shitty cigars.
And then slap the
And
labels.
slip
on it.
stick the labels on it, and you got more into the box than you do the cigars. But all in, you're probably $12, $14, and then they're going to go sell them to you for $10 a piece. When normally Monte number 2 is going to be $22 to $25, depending on where you're buying it.
So the cut that you did on the torpedo, how did?
This is called cutting on a bias.
Okay.
So I cut it at an angle. So it was normally a full torpedo,
Yeah.
and I just sliced it at an angle, so it gives me more surface. If I
Okay.
would have just cut the end off, it would have just been a real small little hole at the top, where this will give me that full surface, so I'll get more smoke out of that cut on an angle like that. Then if I smoke it up, it has a different flavor than if I smoke it down, because this will
Really?
go right onto the front of my palate. This will go up to the roof of my mouth. So if
Okay.
it goes to the roof and then comes back
Yeah,
down,
that would
it's
actually be
cooler.
good.
Yeah.
Cooler and less bitter.
Okay.
So you can experience. So let's do this. So all you newbies that are sitting here smoking,
Okay, let's
ready for
do
this?
it.
Yep.
So you want to take. So
Regular
I have a
straight.
straight cut. So you just want to
Regular.
concentrate where this hits on your palate. So you bring it right into the front, and you feel it on the front, right? You're feeling it before you taste it because you have heat. But if you smoke it up like this, you can't even feel the smoke in your mouth. So that's the effect of cool smoke.
Wow.
Right, big difference, right?
Huge difference. So the
That's how you
difference
can
of
tell.
cool smoke. That's how you
That's
count a cigar.
incredible.
So you feel it versus tasting it. So smoking up or smoking a real slow draw, But for those of you guys that are out there that have not ever smoked a cigar up, just smoke it up.
That's incredible.
Gary Morris says, ICC house stick was my introduction to ICC 2 years ago, and now I'm poor. Oh.
Well, we're just like the IRS.
Yeah.
We're just here to help.
That is really the best house stick ever. The Principal. But I love Principal. That's probably...
Principles that never fail. Bandoleros that never fail. There's...
You guys did the one, it had... probably the black label with the gold on it, the Principal, a couple months ago.
The black and gold?
Yes. Oh my god.
The black and gold is
I
next level.
have 2 of them still in my humidor.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not giving
Don't
them
tell.
up.
No. Don't give them up to anyone. Don't tell anyone. Don't say that out loud.
Yeah, cherish those.
Gary
People
Morris is
will
going to
find
start
out.
sending in a list of all the stuff we'll trade you for.
Yeah, honey badger and
Yeah.
That honey badger project, we have to do that.
Yes.
So I want you guys to drink that. I want to watch you drink
the sherry.
moonshine.
let's do it.
All right.
This little shot here. This
Is
you're
it not
right.
Cinnabon?
It is, and it's like
Just warm. And
it's like a chocolate chip cookie. You can't just have one.
and you don't feel it. It just kind of rolls on.
Yeah, I would suggest doing what you're just doing.
JP had a great comment.
Yeah.
Sure you did.
Well, one of them. So Dave's wife is going to do a podcast called Size Matters.
That
You should be on the show with me.
That's
That
exactly
would
what
be
I said.
incredible.
That's launching
It's
on-
all women.
Yes.
Now size matters as it relates to different cigars. of
Yeah.
course.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's going to launch August 12th, and that's going to be every Thursday. So you should be a part of that.
Yes.
It would be a cool thing.
That would be
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh, that would.
That would be
and-
so fun.
Yeah, they're doing their best to take us down as a business. I think
Yeah.
this is going to finally do it.
Oh, I think I did. She was asking questions the other week.
That's her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
We need to go back and watch
That's
the
my wife.
one.
Not this
That's
one.
my wife.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, no,
No.
I see why you did
Yeah,
it.
never a dull moment around
The
that
week
wife.
that you were in Vegas, Bagley took over for Dave.
Yeah,
Watch that show.
and kick my
That was a good show. That was
She
a
did.
good
I
show.
got the most views on that one for mine.
And
Is that when Brandon was kicking your ass on
Look,
videos too?
look, all we understand. Look,
when
we
you were
do
trying
it,
to
yeah.
relax on a beach.
we do it, but we're not as good as we call them our B team.
Where's the Australia guy? Don't you guys always do like some?
G'day, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the way, I mean, obviously, it's if you're coming to us from a foreign country like Chicago,
Yes.
we'll
We
say,
need to-
we'll say good morning to you in your foreign tongue. The greatest one ever,
Holy bejesus.
the greatest one ever was when a guy actually came into us from Australia.
Yeah. What do you say to that?
I went, how you doing?
Yeah.
So this is still a little young, so we're not quite there, but
Yeah, it doesn't have the depth to it.
no.
You can feel maybe where it's going to be, but you
Yeah.
can feel that it's not settled.
It's not quite there.
You can same way with the cigar.
Okay.
The same feeling as
It's
it
the
we
same.
call it being sick. It tastes sick. It's
Bitter.
you can tell it's on its way, but it's just not growing up all the way. It's like a good teenager who's mature for his age, but he still talks
A
about stupid
teenager.
shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Why?
not quite there.
I mean,
That-
I'll tell you,
that's what that
there
is.
are great master blenders that we've had in, and that's when you really realize. When I realized my palate's nowhere near where these guys are, because they can smoke tobacco that's not there yet, but they know where it's going. And I just taste it for what it is today. I can't see where it's going, so they'll smoke something, they'll give us a cigar to try, and we'll smoke it like, eee. And they're, no. When this gets to the other side, it's going to be good.
And that took me
Man, it's tough.
That took me a full week. A full week. Imagine how many cigars you could smoke in a factory in a week with Crux, of accepting where it is and dismissing the things you don't like and paying attention to the stuff that you do like and just taking for granted that's where it's going to go. It probably took, I don't know, 50 cigars, 60 cigars that you smoke that you can just kind of push that aside and enjoy it for what it's going to be. This is pretty cool too. Just you can feel how it's fuller, the way that it.
Yep.
This is gonna drink.
It's
No, I don't know how it's gonna age. I have no idea what I'm doing, but
No, you're
this
right
makes sense.
there. You're right there on exactly what you're saying, because it's. I haven't actually ever thought about it that way, how you guys are saying it, but it's totally a projection on things, and that's it. When I first try to do finishes, it's like, okay, what's gonna marry? What's gonna mash well together? You know, like a lot of people do port finishes. I don't think ours is gonna be that great with a port. That's why I did sherry. It's kind of blending those. So I know what a sherry tastes like. I know what our tastes like. So hopefully that mesh. And you can also do, like a lot of people will do fake things. Like when we first tried it, it was infusing it. You know, you try a few drops of this, try a few drops of that. But that's how you know whether it's gonna mesh or not. But that's how you get that, okay, this is where we're going with it.
That's interesting. So to basically create renderings or model out, you would take a little dropper and go, okay, here's a couple drops, and then this works at 4 drops, so let's let it sit for a while on where it's going to be.
And it's also like what proof are we putting it in the barrel? So I know with cigars it's going to be different, but what we're putting, so it's different because when you put it actually originally in the barrel, you want it at a certain proof to age. So now when it's done aging and finishing it, we have to deal with so many different other characteristics of it. You have to pick out the notes that is coming out of the barrel versus what you put in. So you kind of have to continue to taste along the way. Damn.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
No.
See, with cigars,
somebody's got to do
with
it.
cigars, that is not an enjoyable process. When it's sick, it's not fun. And we had that because when we did the night at the factory, people got their cigars back, and you have about 72 hours, and then it gets sick for about 3 months,
So
depending on the tobacco.
Really?
So if you don't try it in 3 days,
in the cigar.
so then we had people who tried it, and they just, oh, what is this? Waited too long. It's sick. Now you gotta wait. So when we had samples for a house stick that came up, that's in a really cool thing. Well, when they set them up, I couldn't taste anything at that point, so we thought, okay, well, we're gonna wait. But that means we're gonna wait 3 months until it goes to where it is. You got 3 days or 3 months. You do not want to smoke it sick. It's rough.
We don't have that. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's not there, it's not there, it's there. But in Texas, again, like when I went to talk to somebody about aging, he said 4 months and 10 days. And I was like, that's
pretty specific.
That's pretty precise. So now that we're getting into that 4 month, we literally have to taste it every week, because if we go too long, so like probably where you're saying what the sick point is, if we age too long in a barrel, that's where we get our sick point. So in Kentucky, when you're aging longer and longer and longer and longer, it gets better. In Texas, well, it depends on the barrel. I should step back a bit. So we're currently aging in the 15-gallon barrel. So it's a smaller barrel, smaller surface. So it's going to pick up all of the characteristics of the barrel versus a larger barrel at the same place.
Isn't there an evaporation process
Yep.
too? I mean, I would think that over time you would have,
So
in a
much
sense,
longer.
less yield.
Angel
Angel
share.
share.
Yep, that's what angel share is. So angel share is one of two things. It's the water evaporating out of the barrel while it ages, or while it's leaking. That's not really angel share, but it does leak. So sometimes if the barrel rings aren't tightened enough, it'll leak. But angel share is what we deal with.
So if something goes too long, what are the characteristics negative that you pick up from that?
It's straight oak and heat from us. It's like
Heat and oak. Okay.
if you've had a very dry cab, that's kind of where you're getting
all tannin.
Yes, it's
real.
total tannin where you're just. Some people like it, but for me, I don't want to drink it but everybody. Again, you can't, like when you say cigars, you can't tell somebody how to smoke it. That's the biggest thing with whiskey. Don't tell somebody how to drink it. Some people like it with ice, some people like it neat.
Yeah, that is the existential and respectful way to look at it too, and I appreciate that, and that's kind of where we stand. But there also is that element where it's difficult when you know what's possible, But then you have the guy that goes, I just want something that punches me in the face.
I just want somebody to mix it with Diet Coke.
Yeah, you go, okay, cool, I've got something for you, but you know, it's tough. It's like, but don't do it. Don't do it. Just enjoy the best of the best. And in Texas, I see that more than I think we saw in Nebraska. It's like that freedom that runs so deep. It's like, I just want something that's going to punch me in the face, and that's what I like, and that's what I want to do. It's like, God damn, just smoke a principle, man. Just enjoy something.
Try something.
You're paying the money for it. Enjoy it. Get the most out of it. Then that's where your world comes. Is I suppose the good thing is if you mess it up, at least there's somebody that's going to buy it.
Yeah, and then the same thing, like, that's what we make our small batch, those kind of funkier, earthier, and sometimes, like I said, we get those funky barrels where it's, you get that Texas funk, so you blend it. That's the good give with whiskey, is you can always blend it. There's always something you can do. You can always add water to it too, which a lot of people don't like because you're proofing it down, but sometimes just adding a little bit of water, like when you're tasting, if you just add a drop of water, it opens it up so much. It's like how we were doing the cigars, how we were tasting cigars. Yeah. Is it tasting?
Yeah. I don't think there's a real solid set of terminology, but yeah, same thing.
So what's been your favorite so far?
That honey's next level.
Honey for sure, yeah.
It just gives a certain, like, it just takes that little bit of bite off.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. But
There's
it's
something
not
that's
dessert.
attractive about it. Yeah, it's not dessert.
It's not dessert.
You know what it's like? It's to me a lot like the Bandolero, where it's sweet, but it's not sweet. It's very deep. There's a lot going on. There's enough bite to it where I could see myself going, yeah, that's what I want. It just, there's something attractive to go back to that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Let's end this thing.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Quietest thing it's ever been.
Cheers.
I think so, yeah. Salute.
Cheers.
Cheers. Guys, thanks for joining. But we're going to enjoy some of this whiskey here and
look forward to, look, I understand you guys are used to hearing big things on the horizon.
Yeah.
Let's just say there are going to be some very cool things that we're going to, that once we hit stop, we're going to talk about. They're going to make their way to you. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Agreed.
This is an awesome time. Thank you guys.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're going to have to be on Size Matters with
Yes.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Oh, get them all liquored
Set
up.
that up.
Yeah. I want to see you blush.
And send them home.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.